When going on to Big Brother, you are practically agreeing to give up any sense of privacy. For the next 2 to 3 months, every word, meal, action, burp, shower, and anything else you can think of will be caught on camera for millions of people to see. Your everything becomes timestamped and bookmarked, and you will be forever remembered as a Big Brother house guest. Except for a select few. You see, there exists a handful of people who were supposed to play the game and were ready to have their entire lives broadcast for a summer, but something happened, and they were quietly removed from the cast and replaced by someone else. Typically, Big Brother likes to keep this kind of stuff under wraps, but it can be tricky trying to erase all the evidence, and breadcrumbs often appear. A leaked early cast photo, a throwaway conversation on the live feeds, or even a full-on interview after the fact reveals the truth about the players that never were. These are the 14 players CBS doesn't want you to know about. These are the lost house guests of Big Brother.
So did you find out if someone backed out, dropped out, or what it was that got you on the show?
From what I've heard, it's he was a firefighter in Chicago who was a single dad of like 3 or something like that.
Hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe button and help me get to 50K. Thanks. The first lost house guest comes from a season I just spent a long time talking about. Big Brother 4. About a week before the season was set to begin, Big Brother released cast photos of the 13 incoming house guests. However, among the photos, G was nowhere to be seen, and instead, there was a player named Brandon Showalter, a hulking, 6'5", 28-year-old computer engineer. Brandon was set and ready to play as one of the singles on Big Brother 4, and he was even placed in sequester leading up to the move-in date. However, Brandon was a little rule breaker. He was caught sneaking out of the sequester hotel to try and call his girlfriend to wish her a happy 4th of July, which was a big no-no. Due to the fact that he could have gotten outside information pertaining to the other house guests, Brandon was formally disqualified the day of the move-in and replaced by G, making him the first known lost house guest of Big Brother.
I was at the gym a few weeks later working on my core. My back came around. I was able to actually hop again, which was a huge thing for me because I can now jog.
The next known lost house guest comes just 2 seasons later, but this one is much more clouded in mystery. The twist of Big Brother 6 was that each player was coming into the game with a secret partner, someone close to them from their home life, and incoming house guest James Ryan was set to come into the game not with his girlfriend Sarah, but with his friend Mike. They went through the casting process, got the confirmation that they were on the cast, and everything was lined up for them to enter the house. However, just 3 days before move-in, Mike dropped out. He didn't give a reason, and he didn't even inform James of his decision. It seems like Mike just didn't want to go through with being on the show, so he gathered his belongings and left, leaving James without a partner. Luckily for James, his girlfriend Sarah dropped everything in her life and agreed to be James's secret partner, meaning that he didn't have to lose his spot too, but he was quite close to becoming a lost house guest as well. You may have noticed that I haven't shown any footage or pictures of Mike, and that's because we literally know nothing about him. We don't know what he looks like. We don't even know his last name. All that we know about him is that his first name was Mike and that he was a friend of James. He's about as lost of a house guest as you can get. Following the trend of having a lost house guest every other season, Big Brother 8 gave us our next lost house guest. In the week leading up to Big Brother 8's premiere, a TV series called Reality Chat had a segment where they got to interview each of the incoming house guests for Big Brother 8. Things looked normal, and they showed a bunch of quick snippets of the 14 new house guests that we would all get to know, but among these shots, there was a 15th person shown, a woman named Samantha. I don't know if the cast had been officially revealed at this time, so it's possible that people just assumed that Big Brother 8 was going to have 15 players and that everyone in the interview would be on the show, but obviously that's not what ended up happening, because Samantha never entered the house. I racked my brain for some possible explanations, but eventually found out that executive producer Allison Grodner said in an interview that Samantha was always just an alternate for the season and that she was sent home once the other 14 house guests moved into the house. Maybe this doesn't make her a lost house guest since she technically never had secured a spot in the house, but I still think this is worth noting because alternates are never revealed to the public, making this one of the rare instances where an alternate was shown off before the season began.
I think that's the biggest mistake people make is they go in and they're like, oh, this is my friend, and how could you do this to me? Oh, I want to date this guy after the show. No, I have friends, so I'm good. I don't need to make new friends.
Our every other season pattern skipped a generation, as Big Brother 10 didn't have a lost house guest as far as I'm aware, but the pattern picked back up in Big Brother 12. Big Brother 12 was supposed to have 14 house guests, with 7 men and 7 women, and everything looked good to go as the move-in day approached. However, houseguest Paola Aviles, a 30-year-old real estate agent, seemingly got cold feet and dropped out at the very last minute. While it has never been officially confirmed why Paola left during the sequester period, it is heavily rumored that she found out that there were cameras in the bathroom, and that was a boundary she wasn't willing to budge from, which I can understand. Supposedly, Paola's drop was so last minute that they had already sent the alternates for the season home, leading to the season only having 13 people in a gender imbalance in favor of the men. Alright, we finally have an odd number season to talk about, that being Big Brother 13. On the day that the Big Brother 13 cast was revealed, CBS showcased 8 new house guests that would be entering the house. However, that didn't align with the other sites. Typically in the preseason of Big Brother, select news outlets and media websites are given interviews with the incoming house guests that they can release once the cast is officially revealed by CBS. So, on the day that CBS revealed the Big Brother 13 cast, these outlets and websites released their interviews with the incoming players as well. But instead of there being just the 8 players, there was a 9th player, Jason Thomas, the 26-year-old boxer. Jason was originally supposed to be on the cast, and it seems like there was supposed to be 9 new players and 4 returning players on the season. But at some point, just before the season began, Big Brother opted to drop Jason in order to make room for 2 additional returning players. I'm guessing that the other outlets didn't get the memo about Jason's removal from the cast, as he was included in all of the day 1 press releases. But the worst part is that Jason himself wasn't even told that he was cut from the cast until a day after the media found out. The cast was revealed to the public on a Thursday, and he wasn't told he was cut until Friday. After Big Brother 13, we get to Big Brother 14, where we were given a lost house guest for a 3rd straight season. In what I have to assume was a small commercial promo in the week leading up to the season, a guy in a bright pink shirt was shown off as an incoming house guest, Mike, the sailing instructor. But obviously, when Big Brother 14 officially premiered, Mike was nowhere to be seen, and in his place was Joe Arvin, the chef. So, what happened to Mike? Well, nobody really knew for a long time, and it wasn't until 5 years later, on Big Brother Over the Top of all places, that it was finally revealed. Jason Roy, the sole returning player that season, mentioned on the live feeds that Mike was recovering from a drug addiction during the time and that it wasn't working out between him and the producers. So ultimately, the decision was made by both parties for Mike to be let go from the cast. I have searched for so long to find the actual video of the Big Brother 14 promo, but all I have is this GIF, so here you go. Up next, I have one that is by far the least reported on of anything that I could find, and that is the nameless firefighter from Big Brother 15. We know that McCrae Olsen was an alternate for this season, but he ended up making it into the house, meaning that somebody must have dropped in order for him to get onto the show. I had to dig deep to find any sort of information on this, and from this one obscure podcast that McCrae did in 2019 or 2020, there is a clip of him saying that he knows nothing about who the player he replaced was, other than the fact that he was a firefighter in Chicago who was also a single father of 3. We don't know his age, we don't know what he looks like, and we don't even know his name, which makes him one of the most lost house guests in all of Big Brother.
So did you find out if someone backed out, dropped out, or what it was that got you on the show?
From what I've heard, it's he was a firefighter in Chicago who was a single dad of like 3 or something like that. Robin, our casting director, was like, "Oh, surprised that he didn't reach out to you." Weird stuff.
Before we continue on, let's talk about the sponsor of today's video, FlexiSpot. As a YouTuber, there are days where I find myself sitting at my computer for 8 to 10 hours, which can't be good for my long-term health. Luckily, that's where FlexiSpot comes in. FlexiSpot sent me their brand new next generation height adjustable desk, the E7 Pro. With the option to raise the desk to any height I like, I now have the ability to stand while I work, which is so much better for me and has completely changed my day-to-day life. All I have to do to adjust the height of the desk is press one simple button on the keypad and I can bring the desk to a stand. Then, when I'm looking to sit back down, I can press the sit button and the desk will return to my preferred sitting height, which is both super efficient and super easy to understand. I've been wanting to get a standing desk for a while now, and I can genuinely say that this desk is the perfect match for all of my needs. Not only is it ergonomically savvy, but the quality is legitimately top-notch. FlexiSpot gives you the option to fully customize how your desk looks, along with plenty of additional accessories to help you create the perfect workstation for you. I went with the black legs and the maple desktop, and when it arrived at my door, I knew that I struck gold. This isn't a cheap, thrown-together product. This is premium quality all the way through. I can't get over how nice my E7 Pro looks, and it has quickly become the nicest piece of furniture that I own. If you like what you see, click on the link in my description to start the process of customizing your own E7 Pro, and of course, I have a special offer for my followers. By using my link and subscribing to receive special offers, you will earn 6% off your next order. Thanks again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring today's video, and with that, let's get back to the Lost House guests. Up next, I got a really quick one for Big Brother 17. Supposedly, there were many leaks before the season began stating that some guy named Tyler G was going to be a house guest. But of course, he was missing when the Big Brother 17 cast was officially revealed. One of the running rumors is that he was dropped from the cast because his spot was leaked so early on, and Clay ended up being his replacement, but none of that is actually confirmed. So Tyler is a hazy Lost House guest. Oh hey, would you look at that? It's Ethan from the future here, and I actually found a little bit more about Tyler. It turns out that Tyler posted on Instagram ahead of time hinting that he would be on the season and that he wouldn't be active for a while, which is a big no-no. Then, after being dropped and when the official cast was released, he went on a rant on Twitter before deleting the tweets and deactivating the account. However, a few months later, Tyler landed himself a spot on a dating show called Coupled, and on the Wikipedia page for it, they actually talk about his Big Brother 17 story.
I want to show these women the old school American boy next door. Alicia is hot. If I'm basing off looks, probably like a hard 9.5. And I don't give out 10s for anybody.
Okay, now we're getting to the big ones. This one is a bit of a two-parter, starting at Big Brother 20. One of the people going through the casting process was a woman named Jenna Jackson, a known cheerleader on the Dallas Cowboys. It is unknown whether she was simply in the final stage of the casting process or actually landed a spot on the cast, but at one point, she or her team leaked her name too early, and they cut her. Typically, that would be the end to her Lost Houseguest arc, but it keeps going. Jenna really wanted to be on the show, so the following year, she tried again for Big Brother 21, and again, she made it deep into the casting process. So deep, in fact, that she actually was on the cast and set to appear on the show. But then something wild happened. Jenna's name was leaked to the public early again, but not by her, by a different prospective Big Brother 21 house guest, Kat Dunn. Kat and Jenna actually knew each other, as they were both involved in Dallas cheerleading circles, and I'm pretty sure they both knew that the other was probably gonna be on the cast, but they didn't get along very well. This is where things get a little hazy, but what I think happened is that Kat had told a friend of hers that she was nervous about Jenna being on the cast with her. So Kat's friend leaked Jenna's name to the public early again, and when the Big Brother 21 cast was eventually revealed, Jenna was not there, making this the second season in a row that Jenna got cut from the cast. For a long time, I fully believed that the reason Jenna was axed from the Big Brother 21 cast was because of Kat leaking her name, but Kat actually stepped forward years later and clarified that even though she did indirectly leak Jenna's name to the public, the producers confirmed that that wasn't the reason Jenna was kicked off. The truth supposedly was that Big Brother 21 house guest Christie was originally supposed to be just an alternate, but they accidentally told her at the key reveal that she was gonna be on the cast, and the interaction made the production team reconsider their choice on if she actually should be an alternate or not. So, in the weeks leading up to the season when the cast was in sequester, they held a final interview for both Christie and Jenna, and eventually it was decided that Christie would be on the cast instead, making Jenna the new alternate. By the time the season began, the alternates weren't needed, and Jenna was sent home, making her the only known two-time Lost house guest.
My favorite intangible thing that I'm going to take with me into the real world is just knowing that I have the confidence to go out and take risks and do what I dream of.
After Jenna Jackson, we have a double whammy with Big Brother 23. 6 days before BB23 was set to begin, someone discovered that you could type in a specific URL on the Big Brother website and it would reveal the entire incoming Big Brother 23 cast. It was cool to get the cast a little bit early, but nothing seemed that out of the ordinary. Up until CBS did their official cast reveal and things didn't fully line up. One of the house guests on the leak, Garrett Smyles, had been erased and replaced with Christian. Everyone online was super confused as there was no explanation given for the change, and to this day, we still don't know what happened to Garrett. Maybe he got cold feet, maybe he got COVID, but no matter the reason, he was on the cast one day and off the next, making him a lost house guest. Big Brother 23 wasn't done just yet though. Just 2 days before the season was set to begin, CBS made an announcement stating that another player was being removed from the cast, this time being Christie. While in sequester, Christie had somehow tested positive for COVID and therefore needed to be taken off the cast to ensure the safety of the other house guests, and she was replaced by Claire. This was the first instance of CBS ever making an official statement regarding the removal of a house guest before the beginning of a season, which also makes it the only time up to this point that CBS had publicly acknowledged a lost house guest. It's crazy that Big Brother 23 had not just one, but 2 lost players come to light in the matter of just a few days, and it made that final preseason week a pretty crazy one.
Hey guys, so I don't want to be sharing this news, but I tested positive for COVID and I have no idea how I got it. I have the vaccine and I've been following all the guidelines up to this point, but it's really frustrating because I won't be playing in Big Brother this summer.
And now, lastly, we have the most recent and most absurd lost house guest of all time, that being Marvin from Big Brother 24. Big Brother was extra careful with revealing the cast this season, likely due to not wanting another double replacement issue from the prior season, so they didn't reveal the Big Brother 24 cast until just 30 hours before the live move-in. However, somehow, that still was too much time and something happened. The cast was revealed on July 5th, and not even a few hours later, Big Brother had to make an update saying that house guest Marvin was no longer on the cast and that he was being replaced by alternate Joseph. What could have happened in just the few short hours that the cast was revealed to make them need to remove Marvin? Well, it turns out that Marvin had not just one, but 2 contractual issues that would prohibit him from being on Big Brother. Marvin was on both the current season of America's Got Talent on NBC and the upcoming season of The Circle on Netflix, and Big Brother had absolutely no clue. So, CBS had to immediately remove Marvin from the cast, or they could be sued by either network company, making Marvin a not-so-lost house guest. Don't fret though, because not even 6 months later, Marvin landed a spot on an international season of Big Brother. So you can barely even call him a lost house guest at this point, but I'm doing it anyways.
This is a tough question. If I have the option of taking my close alliance to the finals or taking somebody that's not as close, but I have an upper hand against, having a chance of winning that huge amount of money, I'll do that.
And there we go. This is as comprehensive a list as I could make, but the beauty of this topic is that there are almost undoubtedly more lost house guests that have yet to be discovered. Maybe as time goes on, more will be uncovered, but there's certainly going to be some that remain lost forever, and I think that's really neat. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I, of course, need to give that extra special shout out to all of my YouTube members and patrons who I hope would never have to become a lost house guest and could instead just become a regular house guest. And, as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
Being a super fan and walking into the HOH room, I was absolutely blown away. You know, I get to play with the remote, I get to look at the monitors. Cool.